Hello everybody, welcome to SPOTO Facebook Live. My name is Judy. Hello. Then today's topic is Introduction to the Routing Dynamic Protocol Logic Framework. And second is Introduction to BGP Technology Related Concept. 3. The difference between IBGP and EBGP. 4. The next generation of Cisco certification system. I believe that everybody was shocked by Cisco's new certification system. In the early hour of this morning, the Cisco conference in the Unit State announced that the new certification system will be released on February 24, 2020. I was wake up by WhatsApp message. It's midnight in China. I thought all SPOTO members in the study group were discussing this topic. Some people curious about it was true or not, and how does it affect them. Some people think that it's better to take the exam before change. And some people think that it's better to take the exam after change. I think the answer is absolutely is take the exam before change. Let me explain why. But before it, I want to say this is my own opinion. If you have different view from me, please let me know and we can discuss together. From my understanding, the next level Cisco certification means you have to have basic Cisco certification knowledge, and then you can go for next level. Am I right? I'm not sure, just my own opinion about this. Why am I thinking like that? Check this table with me. Before, we have 9 tracks of CCNA certification. Now, the CCNA of the original 9 track was combined, and only one subject was tested. The test course was 200, perhaps 301. Also, CCDA changed to CCNA DevNet. If you want to be a CCNA, just take the exam right now. Otherwise, you are going to learn NITRAC knowledge to achieve it. Also, don't worry if you get CCNA certification this year. Your certification time widely will automatically renew as the same one, I think. If you have any different voice, please scan our QR code and let me know. I will update our new information in next Facebook Live. Just book your exam time right now. If you still thinking you may miss this chance to take the exam, this is the global change. It's no one country or one track change. I think it's better to get the exam before the change, because you will never know future what will happen in the future. The form track of CCNA routing and switch and CCNP wireless was, you can see here, was made into the track of CCNA enterprise is here. It means you have to learn both routing and switching and wireless to achieve CCNP enterprise. It's better to take exam before change. I think because sounds is difficult to combine one. I mean. Now, SPOTO CCIE dumps is stable and valid. You can pass CCIE dump. You can pass CCNP with our SPOTO dumps in 7 days. You're right, 7 days. So don't waste your time. Contact us here. Scan the QR code to get you CCIE certification right now. Come on, join us right now. The form of CCNP exam has been changed. The period 3 or 5 written exam are required to pass, while the next generation of CCNP certification only need to pass 2 exams. One is compulsory exam, the other is the option. Like you have to take this one, but the other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The other 6, you just choose one. At least one. It's easy, right? Also, it's flexible. It depends which chart you're interested in, or which chart your company needs, maybe. Oh, one more thing I have to remind is that next generation CCNP can be text directly without the needs for CCNP certification. Before you want to pass CCNP, you have to get CCNA certification. But now you don't need CCNA certification anymore. You can go CCNP directly. And scan our QR code, join SPOTO Cisco study group. You can get more information here. I promise. CCIE certification change. As you can see here, routing and switching exists the history stage. Routing and switch track is changed to enterprise track, and the existing routing switching certification is automatically upgrade to enterprise infrastructure cultures certification. Enterprise infrastructure certification after the new certification is issued. So get CCIE certification right now, and our dumps is stable and valid. You know, you can if you do the CCIE, if you do CCIE certification right now, for example, IS, you only have to do one check. If you do after the exam change, I'm not sure the exam is easier or harder. I promise, I think, in my opinion, I think it's harder because it's next level Cisco certification. So if you can get CCIE written exam done before February 24, 2020, it's good. You don't have to worry the lab exam. Cisco is allow you to continue with lab exam if you have done written exam before. Is that clear for you? If you get whatever you are ready to the exam or preparing to the exam, just book the exam right now. Otherwise, you may miss the chance to take the exam before February 2024. I think a lot of people are going to take the exam. So if you plan to get it, just go to book it right now. Don't worry. You can pass CCIE written exam with SPOTO dumps. Yes, you are right. With SPOTO CCIE dumps, nothing is impossible. Just scan our QR code and we will give you a surprise. This is interesting things to mention about it. CCNP written test and CCIE written test are the same. So you can choose directly take the CCNP or CCIE written test and pass the lab as CCIE, or rather to an option test to become CCNP. It's more flexible, is that right? It just depends your company needs you be a CCNP or CCIE. It just depends. The next generation CCIE is still valid for 3 years, but after 3 years, it can be active simply by retaking the writing test without taking lab activation again. The form of recertification is changed to credit. CCIE certification have to get 120 credit before activation. CCNP certification have to get 80 degree before activation, and CCNA certification have to get 30 degree before activation. Only written text like this. You only take for the CCNA, you only take one written test. I mean, so it's easier than before. Maybe not, because CCNA certification is 9 check combined for one. So take CCNA exam right now is better choice for you. And this table for here, lab tabs model is changed from troubleshooting and decks and configuration into design, into into design, deployment, operation, and optimization. And if you want to pass the model exam, and the pass score here means pass score. Pass score is 80%. Minimum score is 60%. So if you don't, like in the model 1, maybe you take 70%. Don't worry, you can still go to model 2, but you have to try harder in model 2 to get. I think it's 90% because in the final, the total exam, you have to get 80% to pass. Am I explained clearly? So pass score is 80%, minimum score is 60%. If you get really high, like 100% in model 1, maybe you don't have to get 80% pass score. At least you can get minimum score, and then you can pass. If I'm explaining, you're still confusing about my explanation, so scan our QR code to join us. We will give more detail to you or explain more. Also in our study group here, WhatsApp study group here, and we have instructor here to help you solution your problem. I mean, study problems. If you want, you can ask our instructor. And that's all for today's Cisco conference. In general, the transformation of Cisco indicator that the certification of network engineer in the next generation will be more systematic and development. It advocates that one major is more precise, and the study track and content can be flexible selected according to their own interest or business needs, as I mentioned about before. And at the same time, automation and development are involved in each track, giving engineers the opportunity to move to a high level of design or development. New change brings new challenge, but also new opportunities. Active embrace to new era. Our generation of network engineer is the best either. Before I pass this leaf to June, please scan our QR code. June will explain more detail and your question in WhatsApp study SPOTO Cisco study group. Scan here. Just scan here. Join us. I'm Judy. I will be with you in our WhatsApp study group. Now let's pass to June. Let's welcome June.
Thank you for her introduction. Hello guys. Is anybody know about Cisco recently released news? Have you heard that Cisco released a change message yesterday, which is the biggest change in Cisco's history? Simo first, I see you. Where are you from? If anybody know, just give me some response. Okay, today in addition to sharing some of BGP content, I will share the next generation of Cisco certification in the end. This is the hottest news in recently. You can join our WhatsApp group. First, we will release the detailed news into the group. We have our SPOTO experts in the group. If you have any questions, you can ask him personally. This is our QR code. You can scan you can scan this picture and join our study group. So before we start, I want to ask you guys some questions. This is our flowchart. Have you seen BGP before in your job, or have you configured BGP? If you have, just type 1 in the chat box. Today I will First, I will talk about share something about the routing dynamic protocol logic framework and basic network. If you can't understand my words, just let me know in the chat box. Yes, LINN. I can pronounce your pronounce your name, but I know for what does the firm mean? Okay, now let me introduce myself. My name is John, and I'm a CCIE instructor of SPOTO. I have worked in an integrator for several years and have rich project experience. I'm currently a tutor for CCIE Lab services. If you have any questions about network, you can scan this code to find me. First, I'll introduce the overall framework of dynamic routing, and then I'll introduce the basic BGP concept. In the end, I will introduce the difference between IBGP and EBGP. And most of all, I'll share some hot news about Cisco certification. So, I want to ask you, all of you guys, that how much do you know about those terms? Can anyone knock out the front end of IGP, EGP, and BGP? If someone can knock out the front ends of those 5 nouns in 1 minute, you can get our discounts. Is anyone want to have a try? Anyone? Just give me a response in the chat box. Which track are you preparing now? RIP, OSPF, EBGP. Yes. RIP, OSPF, EBGP. This is the IGP. So it's very nice to you. Yes, BGP is EGP. Give me more. So it seems that we need time to know the words. So I'll continue my topic. So the first topic, I will introduce the routing dynamic protocol logic framework. You know, the internet is a combination networks by routers. Yes. Adding Lorry, any UAY. You have a good answer, I think. BGP TCP port. That's nice. So let's continue. In order for the packet to reach the target host correctly, the router must forward it correctly on the wait. This process of forwarding data to the correct method is called routing control. So who and how to make and manage routing control tables? Routing control is divided into two types, static routing and dynamic routing. Static routing is a method of setting up routers and houses in advance and faxing routing information. Dynamic routing is a way for routing protocols to automatically set routing control information during operation. ACCAC, I heard you pass CCIE and DC written, so you need to pass both them. Let me know what in that purpose. Yes. You can join the WhatsApp and I'll give you a Wally lab personally. So let's continue. I am mainly talking about the infrastructure of dynamic routing today. Let's take a look with this. Do anybody know that dynamic routing protocols are divided into two categories, but based on what? EGP just EGP, not IBGP. EBGP, not IBGP. Good answer. Anybody know? Is anybody know the dynamic routing protocols are divided into two categories based on what? With the development of IP networks, it's impossible to manage all networks, you know. In a unified manner, therefore, people are divided into two types of routing protocols, IGP and EBGP. So IGP and EGP according to the scope of routing control. The routing protocol is divided into two levels. EGP, exterior gateway protocol, because it's called, I know it and I means internal. Yes, which I'll share in the next topic. EGP, exterior gateway protocol, and IGP, interior gateway protocol. Without EGP, it's impossible to have communication between different organizations in the world. Its exterior gateway protocol, EGP, is a protocol for exchanging routing information between two adjacent gateways of an autonomous system. But without IGP, communications within the organization also is impossible. The main node of the IGP protocol is to discover and calculate routing information in the autonomous domain IGP. The IGP includes many protocols such as RIP, OSPF, ISIS, and EIGRP. And EGP currently uses BGP. And then the BGP divided into two parts, IBGP and EBGP. So, in this topic, I will introduce BGP technology-related concepts. So let's continue. What is BGP? What is BGP? Before we start the BGP learning, we need to introduce the concepts of AS, autonomous system. So in here, you can see the AS is called autonomous system, which means a group of internally managed networks that share the same routing method. It's divided into public and private. Usually, an autonomous system is created using a router by connecting to other areas, just like this. The goal is to distinguish between different autonomous systems when running external routing protocols such as BGP. The ISP regional network will assign a 16-bit AS number to each autonomous system. This number is the AS number. BGP is based on this number for the corresponding routing control. In general, most routers in the AS only know the topology of the AS. If you don't know the internal topology of other AS, in this picture, if AS 64520 don't know other AS, you cannot directly know the routes to other autonomous because the ISP class protocol runs only inside the AS. However, there are some backbone routers in the AS that run EBGP, like protocols between the backbone routers of other AS. Those backbone routers do the after routing to other AS. This information will be reissued through the IBGP class protocol, so that the routers in the AS also node router to other AS. For A, it will router B and D. So in fact, this can be set to a lawyering. This can be set lawyering an aggregation of rules because it's unrealistic and ridiculous for each router to know the topology of the entire internet. All the networks are divided into different AS. This AS and this AS. Simplifying the networks just like DNS, sub-level domain names are the same as second-level domain names. So BGP is a protocol for connecting different organizations. From this, or you can say connecting different autonomous systems. Therefore, it belongs to the external gateway protocol, EBGP. So this is the EBGP, which is specially divided into the parts that are connected between ISPs. Only BGP RIP and OSPF can perform routing control together to control the entire internet. Next, we will look at basic of BGP. So, all through BGP is known as External Gateway Protocol, EBGP. Many networks become so complex within the organization that BGP can be used to simplify the internal network used within the organization. The BGP peer is in the same organization exchanges routing information BGP and IBGP peer-to-peer sessions internally. So BGP prevents the routing loop local autonomous system number by rejecting any routing update it contains from this, as this indicates that the route has passed the route, so an autonomous system and loop will be created. The BGP path, in this path, the BGP path vector routing algorithm is a combination of this distance vector routing algorithm and AS path loop detection. So by default, BGP selects a single path as the best path to the target host or network. Best path selection, the algorithm analyzes the path attributes to determine which route to install as the best path. This is the path and this is the path, but which is the best path? Each path comes with well-known mandatory, well-known free choice, and an optional path attributes used for BGP best path analysis. So we know that BGP is divided into IBGP and EBGP, but what is the difference between IBGP and EBGP? We know that IGP routing protocols are used within the autonomous system, and BGP routing protocols are used between different autonomous systems. Strictly speaking, BGP is not a routing protocol. The reason for BGP is to operate between different autonomous systems, routing and forwarding. So, an EGP and IGP are proposed. EBGP is used between different autonomous systems, AS1 and AS2. It's used between different autonomous systems, but IBGP is used inside the AS system, the autonomous system. This is IBGP. It's inside, and this is the EBGP. However, we use IGP within the autonomous system. This is conflict with BGP is applied to different autonomous systems. For example, under what circumstances do we need to use IBGP? What role does it play in the network? What is the difference between EBGP and IBGP? What role does EBGP play in the network? If anybody knows, I see a lot of bro has a good answer in the chat box, and that's very good. I think you can add our group and talk more about the BGP, and I will glad to see that happens. So with these questions, let's take a closer look. Why do we need IBGP? Because IGP capacity restrictions, IGP processing routing entires are limited. And currently the core router routing table has more than 100,000. If there is no IBGP, then those routes can only be directly imported into the IGP through redistribution. The disadvantages of this are obvious. So waiting for your kind response. So Mika, I'll give you answer in a WhatsApp group, but in here I need to finish my sharing. So I'm sorry for that. You can end this group, and I'll give you answer in this group. And in this group, there has a lot of experts, and they will discuss the details about the BGP. Today, I just sharing the basic concepts of BGP. I'm sorry for that. So I'll continue my topic. I'm glad to see you in a WhatsApp group. So I'll continue my topic. First, the author of the IGP protocol does not intend to let the IGP handle such a large number of rules, and the IGP itself cannot handling such a large number of rules. Secondly, if the IGP is to be processed, then according to the IGP processing principles, if any one of the 100,000 rules changes, the router running the IGP will have to recalculate the route. To be seriously, if one of the rules has route litter, for example, the port is repeated up and down, you reload the interface. This will cause all IGP routers to recalculate 100,000 rules at any time. It's unaffordable for most routers. And the second is the problem of routing loops. BGP relies on routing attributes to prevent routing loops. For example, the AS path attribute. If there is no IBGP protocol, the routing attributes must be those, and when all BGP routes are redistributed into the IGP, this destroys the routing loop prevention of BGP, so creating a hidden loop of routing loops. But in this stage, I want to know, so why do we need IGP since IBGP can send all routes prefix? The IBGP connection is a TCP connection. This means that IGP labels use logical connections. The two IBGP connections do not necessarily have physical links. Therefore, IGP is required to provide routing to complete the recursive lookup of BGP rules. And the BGP protocol itself does not actually discover rules. BGP hands over the discovery of rules to the IGP protocol, which itself forecasts on routing controlled. Therefore, without IGP, BGP is useless. So, the total difference between EBGP and IBGP is the routing loop avoidance measures are different. IBGP infers that the IBGP speaker does not allow the prefix learned from the IBGP label to be passed to the other IBGP labels. Therefore, IBGP requires logical forward connection. EBGP does not have such a requirement, and EBGP avoids routing loops by using the AS path attributes. The second is the BGP attributes used are different. For example, IBGP can pass local preferred priority attribute, but EBGP cannot. So IBGP, the number 3 is IBGP has synchronization requirements and EBGP has no synchronization requirements. Number 4 is IBGP does not require physical connections between IBGP peers. Only logical connections are required, and in EBGP, physical connections between EBGP label are required. So this is the difference between EBGP and IBGP. So in the first topic, I will introduce the next generations of Cisco certification system. In the early days, in the early hours of the morning, the Cisco was held sharing in the United States. It was announced that a new certification system will be released on February 24th, 2020. The current certification deadline is February 23, 2020. Existing certifications are still valid, but if they are certified after February 24, they will receive new certifications and related certificate. So, in here, the original CCNA of the line major directions merged, and only one exam was unified. It's in this 200 and 301, which means the CCNA exam contents has increased. It contains all the tracks. It means you need to prepare for about 9 tracks of CCNA to become one track. Therefore, it's best for everyone to go to the CCNA exam before this, so you can still get the RS CCNA certificate. Otherwise, it will be more difficult to obtain CCNA certificate in February next year. So in here, the original CCNP, RS and switching, RS and CCNP wireless directions merge into CCNP Enterprise. These two become one to CCNP Enterprise direction. And in here, the CCNP exam font change. Origin requires 3 to 5 written exams to pass. The next generation CCNP certification can only be obtained through 2 exams. That is, must take a core exam plus an optional exam. The next generation CCNP can be exempt directly without having to have CCNA certification first. And for RS, it is the historical stage. The RS direction is changed to enterprise direction, and the existing RS certification is automatically upgraded to enterprise infrastructure. The certification after the new certification is released, design direction change to DEV. Change to DEV, and CCDA change to DEV Net Associate. CCDP change to DEV Professional. There are more opportunities for candidates to take the exam. Yes. And in this enterprise infrastructure front, formerly RS routing and switch, and enterprise wireless, formerly wireless exam, the CCIE written exam. NP written exam and IE written exam are the same. If you take NP or IE written exam, you can choose to directly take Lab to become CCIE or refer to an optional exam to become CCNP. The exam is more flexible in the future. So in here, the lab exam module change from TS DAG configuration 3 modules to design and deployment, operation and optimization of 2 modules. The mini score is about you need 60% of the whole exam, of the whole score, and the passing score is you need at least 80 points. In here, the recertification front is changed to 120 credits to activate. Similar to the NP certification, you only need to take a core exam and an optional exam. The next generation CCIE is still valid for 3 years, but more than 3 years, you only need to choose to rewrite the written test to activate. No need to test lab activation. And this time, Cisco announced that it will adjust the Cisco certification exam system in February, which means that Cisco has given us a half-year buffer time. Therefore, before the February 21st next year, the exam dump and lab will be relatively stable. Our suggestion is to try to register for exam before. The friends who are preparing for the CCIE exams can start the reservation immediately. Now everyone is rushing to book the exam. So in this time, I want to ask all of you guys who has already booked the exam. Is anyone has booked the exam for CCIE Lab? If someone has booked the exam, just tell me in the chat box. Okay. If no one, I will continue. Ask them how about your exam? Are you preparing for the CCIE exam? Which level are you studying? Where are you booked? How much time before we can book the exam map? I just revised my CCIE security to renew RS. My suggestion is you better take the exam before the 24th. I already booked both. AC already booked both. You have gray. You are very gray, bro. So, do I want to ask you some questions about how do you think in Hong Kong? In Hong Kong, which time? In which time do I need to retake another exam as my CCIE is active too? Yes, before 24th February, 2020, the exam is stable right now, so you need to take the exam before that. Because after the Cisco changed the systems, the version 5 will turn to the version 1. It's a new age. And we will further introduce the details of the last generation Cisco certification exam in the next broadcast. If you are interested, please join our group. This is our QR code. Join our group and ask our teacher for advice. That's 2 months. So, how about your preparation? AC, how about your preparation? How do you feel? Anyone has questions right now, can just let me know in the chat box and I will give you a satisfied answer. So what exam should I take? Which level are you studying? Are you studying NP, CCNP or CCIE? So this is the study group. Scanning this group, scanning this QR code, or search this number to join us. CRC. How much time to prepare CCIE security lab? About half years. ASLAM. The security lab is about half years. If you study hard, you can take the exam. C4C. Yes. Are you finished all the version? H1, H2, and H3, are you finished all? If you finish out, just prepare for another 1 month and take the exam as soon as possible. It's stable right now, but not stable in the future. ASLAM, you can join our group. Scanning this QR code, join our group. And if you have any questions, just ask our tutor. Our tutor will give you a plan to how to study the security CCIE Lab. Already passed CCNP. That's nice, bro. So you have a good basic level technology. CCIE, it's easy for you. So, this time I'll end the live broadcast. So I want to ask you guys, do you have any interest technology? You can tell us in the study group. I'll give a live broadcast in the future about the technology you are interested in. So I'll end the live broadcast. Bro, we can talk in the study group. It's midnight in China, so I'll end the live broadcast. It's glad to make a conversation to all you guys. One more thing, my CCNA Cyber Ops and CCNP certification will be renewed after February. Yes. ATEQ, yes, as they are active for that's 3 years. Yes. In here, you can see the next generation is still valid for 3 years, but more than 3 years. You only need to choose to rewrite the written test to activate. No need to test lab activation. Okay. I'll end the live broadcast, and if you have any questions, just scan this QR code. I'll see you in the WhatsApp group, the study group, SPOTO Cisco study group. Just scanning this QR code. I'll end a live broadcast. Good night.